Good evening, everyone. It is 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's past my bedtime. But this is a special night and a special time of year where we're all getting together to focus on voting for our election. The path to 2026 rolls right through 2025, where we have some of the most important decisions to make in our election cycles, electing so many of our local leaders across the Hudson Valley. And it's been my pleasure this week to start to get to meet a few of them and bring them to you directly over the interwebs here, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And the responses have been tremendous. And again, it is my privilege to be able to speak to so many of the candidates, to hear about the local issues. And what's been so cool about this for me is like through these conversations, we've been learning about the rich diversity of our town, the needs of our communities, and how individuals are putting their lives on hold in order to put themselves forward to serve us as their neighbors and often our friends. And with that, I am really pleased to have tonight Marjorie Hsu, who's lived in Sleepy Hollow for over a decade and has been a hands-on, dedicated civic leader throughout. She has served as chair of the planning board, driven an ambulance for the Sleepy Hollow Ambulance Corps, led media literacy workshops with the League of Women Voters, and helped to create pollinator gardens across the village. She co-founded a community food garden, was instrumental in helping the local school district become the first in Westchester to include Asian American history in its curriculum. Today, she serves as the vice chair of the New York Community Trust Westchester, co-chair of Westchester County Asian American Advisory Board, and a member of the newly formed New York State AAPI Commission. Professionally and relevantly for our conversation today and the issues being faced by many in Sleepy Hollow, Marjorie brings decades of leadership experience in the tech and telecom sectors, having served as an executive at Verizon, chief technology officer at Singtel, and chief revenue officer at a startup. She now advises early stage companies and sits on several advisory boards focused on cybersecurity, data science, and Gen AI. She has a master's and a bachelor's in economic electrical engineering from Boston University. She is an engineer by trade and executive professionally, and she's running to be mayor of Sleepy Hollow. Marjorie, it's so nice to see you.
Good evening, Kevin. Thank you for having me. What a delight.
Of course, of course. What? So another world, a parallel multiverse here. Like, what would you be doing at 9 o'clock on a Monday night?
I would still be sipping some mint tea,
There
so
you go.
I'm staying
Check.
true to form.
Mhm.
Yep. So yes, happy to be here.
Yeah. And so you've just, when did you decide to run for mayor?
You know, people have been encouraging me for years to run for office, and I've always been happy to support highly qualified candidates. This year, we moved the Sleepy Hollow election for the first time to November, and I was very committed to a very strong showing. We reconstituted the Democratic Committee in December, and I helped recruit an excellent slate of young, talented, kind, driven trustees who are all in their 30s. So they're diverse. We live
Yeah.
in different parts of the community. We have very different career and life experiences. And the fact that they, like you, are
Mhm.
so engaged in mid career while raising family really inspired me that I want to help them run and win. The world is also such a confusing place. I really think it's a time to focus on our local issues
Mhm.
and our small d democracy to make sure that our neighbors are cared for. We build community that we respect and trust. And, you know, for someone that has had an amazing career and have been able to give back in so many ways, I also want to normalize running for public office
Mhm.
at the local level. You know, this is not as scary as people think. It's an opportunity to talk to your neighbors, learn what their issues are, hear people where they are, and try to solve some, you know, complex issues that are, you know, part of our modern life.
Yeah, and it's a wonderfully, not to get too cheesy here, but like a wonderfully American experience to be like, I think I can contribute to make our community better. I'm going to put myself forward. You tell me if I can serve in that role for you.
I thank you for saying that. I feel like I epitomize the American dream. I came to this country when I was 6 months old. I couldn't speak English when I started kindergarten. And still, I rose to become a chief technology
Yeah,
officer, chief revenue officer. I've been able to contribute to my community. This is how I was raised. It's, paying it forward, and volunteerism is part of our family core values. So we're very, very lucky.
we
And,
are.
it would be great to pay it forward.
Yeah, and one of the other things that you mentioned, which I just want to kind of underline, is there are things we can do alone, but if we can bring people with us, we can actually like really get to system change. And it's just amazing to hear about the slate that you're leading, and I assume like the set of issues that everyone is going to address. What are those issues? Like why? Like were there any kind of motivating factors that really pushed you? Like this is the time.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. It's so fun to run as a team,
Hmm.
not just the four of us as the candidates, but we've had such tremendous volunteerism, people that developed our logos, our t shirt shop, and just want to knock doors with us, and friends coming from, you know, all states to help canvas. Our issues are unique and yet not that unique in
Hmm.
Westchester, right? Affordability is a challenge.
Hmm.
We have a 50% um, Spanish speaking community.
Hmm.
So our schools are majority minority,
Hmm.
a lot more Spanish speaking families in the school system than the other ethnicities.
Hmm.
We have this beautifully historic town that's on the Hudson River, but I would like to make Sleepy Hollow a little less sleepy.
Hmm.
I think we have the opportunity to modernize our systems and tools and our processes so it's
Hmm.
easier for residents to get the information they need,
Hmm.
to get things done. Um, for residents to be able to reduce the stress and frustration and time involved in facing the building department, for
Hmm.
instance, and instead be able to, luxuriate in picking beautiful finishes in their home renovation as they're improving the life and home of their family.
Hmm.
We also want to stabilize our finances. The
Hmm.
opponent that was in power for a decade drained our unassigned general fund. They're now promising to cut taxes again by 15% while taking on even more debt above and beyond the 34 million that they took in December of 2020. What this means for young families like
Hmm.
yourselves
Hmm.
is they might cut the taxes now, but with this ballooning debt payment, it's
Yeah.
driving this huge budget deficit.
Yeah.
And the only solution is at some point to raise those taxes again and really push those costs onto seniors and young families that want to stay in Sleepy Hollow
Hmm.
forever. So that's not fair. We need to really address affordability as well as quality of life
Hmm.
for families in Sleepy Hollow. And we also want a more vibrant downtown. So, walkability, bikeability, the Project Mover e-bikes that are
Hmm.
in Ossining, Sleepy Hollow, and Terrytown are the best used in Sleepy Hollow. So that's I
Warms your
love that.
heart.
It's as a cyclist, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But we need a vibrant downtown. We need
Hmm.
to. Um,
All year round. I'm assuming it's bustling around this time of year a little bit.
you're exactly right. It's we're a destination,
Hmm.
and social media has drawn all these tourists from not only all over the New York metro area, but I've in the last couple days met tourists from Mexico, from Israel. I mean, people are finding us, and so
Yeah.
we just need to better manage that. But we need to stabilize the revenues for small business owners.
Mm-hmm.
We need more shops and restaurants downtown for tourists to spend their money in Sleepy
Mm-hmm.
Hollow and not go to one of our neighboring river towns.
Mm-hmm.
And we have too many vacant storefronts.
Yeah.
And we've tried cajoling these absentee landlords for decades,
Yeah.
and we need to hold them account. They can't hold Sleepy Hollow as a tax write-off,
Yep.
depressing our downtown.
Yeah.
So there's
It changes
so
the feel of the neighborhood when you do have empty storefronts.
absolutely. We
Mm-hmm.
have empty lots
Mm-hmm.
that have stayed that way for 20 years after a fire,
Mm-hmm.
and then so many storefronts. And then we have local residents that want to invest in our downtown.
Mm-hmm.
They want to start wine bars and candy
Mm-hmm.
shops and magical, mystical stores. We all would love to.
I'm in for all of that.
You and me both.
Yeah.
You and me both. So we want to be able to walk there with our friends and family, spend our money, spend our evenings,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to support the local businesses that are there already, but
Yeah.
we need more. We need to fill those empty storefronts, build up those vacant lots, and make our town more vibrant.
Absolutely. And it just creates a greater center of gravity. The more stores you have, the more restaurants you have, the more development you have, the more it brings in business for existing store owners.
Exactly.
And,
So
and I know amid all of these challenges, which I think you seem to be really uniquely equipped to solve, the financial, downtown revitalization, there are also major infrastructure challenges, as I understand it, in Sleepy Hollow, which you as an engineer might have perspective on.
yeah, I mean, it was a little shocking. We're living in the oldest house we've ever lived in. It's 100 years old, but
Oh
we
my gosh.
it's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
beautifully built and
Mhm.
super solid. They
Mhm.
use better
The wood was
lumber.
better back then.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. But our sewer system is terracotta pipes. I didn't know that was a thing.
Wow.
So
That's spooky.
yeah, in a non-Halloween way.
Yeah.
So we need to address the infrastructure, and I would love to work with our county and state
Mhm.
to come up with a county-wide sewer plan so that we're systematically addressing the overall sewer management plan for Westchester County instead of each little tiny municipality try to solve this on their own. I want to absolutely partner. I've already gotten agreements from our neighboring towns, Ossining Mayor and Terrytown Mayor, to collaborate on finding ways to together reduce expenses through shared services. We need to find more grant money to pay for these infrastructure needs. We have to really prioritize because we have a very long
Yeah.
to-do list.
And how does your background position you to actually solve these very complicated issues?
Well, I spent decades in telecom,
Mhm.
so I know how to build nationwide infrastructure, right? I've
Mhm.
led teams of user-centered design experts
Mhm.
for technical product development, run huge platforms with engineers architecting, engineering, deploying, and operating highly complex networks that nobody ever wants to have a hiccup. So on my slate, Jared Rodriguez is also an engineer. So the two engineers.
A lot of brain power.
Well, we like to figure out complex
Yeah.
problems and
Mhm.
solve things. So that is what engineers do.
Mhm.
And but we're also about collaborating. So working with other neighboring communities, working with the county and the state. Like,
Mhm.
how do we do this better together? We're
Mhm.
all about community, and let's not just stop at the borders of our little 5 square mile village, but think bigger. And I've manage in Singapore when I was CTO. I had responsibility for the wireline network, the wireless network, the IPTV network, and that was, on a much bigger scale. And I've done it at Verizon, where I've had responsibility for the messaging platform, 911, voice over LTE. I think all of those skills are very translatable.
Well, I think that it sounds like you've really navigated legal regulatory barriers to getting things done, operational barriers to getting things done, technical barriers, financial barriers, and I think all of that experience can be well applied to infrastructure challenges, to really bringing people together around downtown revitalization, to address some of the financial concerns in Sleepy Hollow.
Absolutely. Regulatory is a big concern. We have also this riverfront village, right? So we have to deal with the DEC, the Army Corps of Engineers. We've got piers and docks that are in the Hudson. And, we are very committed to climate smart action, improving our environmental footprint. That's why I agreed to become the chair of the planning board, because Edge on Hudson, when I first started, was just all acres and acres of dirt. And I felt this was a really exciting opportunity to be in literally at the ground floor, so we could impact the climate environmental footprint of 1,177 new homes on the shore of the Hudson River. Yeah. So there's apartment buildings that are 100% electric. There's solar panels throughout all of the buildings and homes at Edge. And De Chico's is literally an environmental wonder. They definitely are very forward thinking in their heating and cooling exchanges between the refrigeration. And so we're thrilled to have De Chico's in Sleepy Hollow. Yep. It's the most beautiful grocery store if you have an opportunity. There's a beer garden.
I know we have one around the corner here, and we frequent it on a daily basis.
Yeah. Well, we have a beer garden that overlooks the Tappan Zee Bridge.
Wow.
And in warm weather, there's an outdoor deck, so you can order pizza and food for your family while you're enjoying the beverage of your choice.
Well, that sounds like a wonderful opportunity to visit Sleepy Hollow, among the many things that you can see in the village at any time of year. But this is a special time of year. And so as we're thinking about Halloween, what's on your Halloween to-do list?
Well, I've been a little busy with the campaign, so I need to finish decorating. But I have 1,300 pieces of candy, so we're ready for the crush of trick-or-treaters, which are adorable.
Not to brag, but I have 1,500.
Well. I have to admit, I have run out in the past and had to knock on my next door neighbor's door. But in Sleepy Hollow, it's how do you prepare for the tourists, right? They all come between September, October, November. How do we level out the revenues? We also have a Sleepy Hollow Music Festival. So we need to look at the calendar of all these events, look at how we manage the livability for our residents, but at the same time, how do we make it easier for tourists to take the train up, to have good signage so they walk to the Old Dutch Church and the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery and get downtown, have more shops and restaurants to spend their money at, or for people that are driving, like where are good parking spaces and a good shuttle service. But we highly encourage people to take public transportation.
Yeah. Well, I don't get to say this very often, but competence, experience, ethical. I mean, these are all the candidates that we want, and all the qualities we want in a candidate, and I hope you win. I don't get to say that on my congressional things yet, But I really hope you win, and I know that the people,
Thank you.
the residents of Sleepy Hollow will be better for it. For those who are watching and who want to know how they can contribute over the course of the next week, besides voting and bringing your friends and family to vote, what else would you tell them to do?
Well, any candidate would tell you that door knocking is the most important thing. So we have two more big canvases, Saturday and Sunday, the last days of early voting right before Election Day. So come join us to knock on doors. It's super fun because you get to see all the Halloween decorations, and our
Yeah.
neighbors are so clever. And really just remind your friends and neighbors to vote, because we need everyone to vote in every election. This is our democracy and this is your voice. So just get in the habit of voting in every school board, local, county, state, federal election. Don't make it a every 4-year habit.
Oh, man. Well, Marjorie, thank you for running and participating in our democracy and bringing so many of us along with you. It's been wonderful to hear a little bit about your journey, the issues you're going to confront, and hopefully in a couple months, my wife and I will be out there and we'll buy you a beer at Chico's.
Absolutely. Can't wait. Thank you,
Okay.
Kevin.
Talk soon.
Good night.
So everyone, that was Marjorie Hsu running for mayor of Sleepy Hollow. If you're in Sleepy Hollow, give her your consideration. A qualified candidate prepared to take on the challenges the village is facing now and in the years ahead. I'm going to bed, guys. this is extreme. But I will be back tomorrow night. Look on my Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube to find out with whom. Apparently, I'm going to do this pretty frequently over the course of the next week. It's fun. It's helping us all get to know the issues and concerns of the district, and the road to 2026 runs right through 2025. Get involved, vote, and I'll see you soon. Talk later.